People, I mean, there have been cities that, yeah, they call them chicanes, they literally build, you know, a median that they have to, obviously with the cracks.
I was going to fast, but if she's like,
Yeah.
You're good? Okay. Welcome back to our work meeting. We've got 2 items here, I believe.
Can we table the one Adam's here for?
Yes, let's table items.
Let's wait until the end.
Just because he's Adam. Okay. I am all sorts of,
We didn't have the crowd phones.
oh my gosh. 2.4, 2.4, discussion regarding request to vacate asphalt trail. Bryce.
Okay, yeah, so we've had a request, the, Adam Jacobson's here, the resident that requested a petition, I should say, to, vacate an asphalt trail near Rose Creek Estates subdivision. So, yeah, we'll just kind of jump into the request. You all the council should have received the email, it was a month or 2 ago. We were able to kind of do some research and kind of bring up the issue here today, so, yeah. Oh, perfect. Okay, so this area, big overview, where this is 134th, so the trail we're talking about connects from 134th just west of Rosecrest Road or 5600 West, behind the commercial into the residential subdivision here, and we'll zoom in a little bit more. So yeah, here's a zoomed in view, so like we were talking about, Rosecrest or 5600 West is here on the east side, commercial area, you've got Vasa, Ace, kind of this area, KFC, Quick Quack. Yeah, so the trail that we're talking about is this asphalt trail here. This exhibit shows in red kind of where all the existing other trails are. And so originally, a little while back, this was discussed with council more as an informal request to look at vacating the trail. Since that time, there's been an application of a petition for all the residents along this trail, and 13 of the 16 residents that live immediately adjacent to this trail was in favor of vacating the trail. 2 were not in favor and 1 did not respond, I believe is how the breakdown was.
2 were not in favor?
Yeah, 2 are not. 1 likes to use, I can tell you exactly, but 1 likes to use it so he can do his yard work, so he drives his truck down the city trail.
Oh, no.
So that's why he wouldn't sign this if Greg. It's great. It's fine, he maintains his property, but that's one reason why he didn't want to get rid of the trail. The other one that's right behind me didn't want to get rid of the trail, and then the third, the city's fined him several times for not doing any land, like, we don't know if he actually lives in the home. So, I know I went to his house 5 times, and I know the city's linked his property a couple of times over the years.
At the bottom of the page, are there trails on that
Yes,
south
yeah.
side of the road?
Oh yeah,
That's
on
the
the-
red, that's down 134th.
But there's no crosswalk or anything there, so
Oh.
you get in literally into the center of the intersection.
You would head over
Yeah.
either to 5600 and come across, or
Yeah,
you
you'd
would
have
head
to
back to
cross
the
here.
other one.
The other thing that's not really on this exhibit is there's technically an undefined trail that goes through the city park at the bottom of the cul-de-sac where it says Carolyn Court. And it actually stubs in straight into the fizz. So that's actually what a majority of the kids actually do, is if you're going to the fizz or the shopping center, you go down, you don't go to 100.
Yeah, but isn't that paved? It's paved, asphalted, isn't it?
It's asphalt by the Pizza Hut, but technically you can walk through the grass to get through, like, there's a staircase right by the fizz, almost right where the green
Yep.
dot is.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
that's how majority, sorry. I
There's
didn't
an
interrupt.
undefined
Let's bring this
e-bike
back to
trail.
council for a minute.
So it's an undefined e-bike trail.
Yes.
Okay, what
Okay.
else?
So,
What else, Mark?
yeah, so the concern that has been brought up is, number one, safety and security of the corridor here. Lack of maintenance from the city as far as weeds and controlling kind of the space. There's kind of a gap between the asphalt trail and the fence line or the property lines. And then additionally improper use, whether that be vehicles or other motorized vehicles. And then the nuisance that is caused by, loitering people in the trail corridor.
Teenagers.
So, so this is kind of how, just some background on how the trail was acquired by the city. So it was dedicated with the subdivision plat. So this is the, trail that we were talking about. Originally, it was dedicated, and it was a dirt trail, intended as an equestrian trail. And then a few years later, I don't know how many years later, the city took on a project to pave that trail corridor. 2014. So yeah, this parcel was dedicated with the subdivision. So the question is, and I'll go back to the big map, this is just a work meeting discussion. Would the council be interested in moving this towards a vacation for that trail? We'd have to go to a public hearing and notify kind of the area and discuss that in a general meeting and make a decision there. The question is, does the city council have interest to move that direction? I will say, if the decision is to move forward, there are some complications we'd have to figure out, which is this trail is adjacent, as we said, to 16 properties. And so how do we vacate it? Does it just go to all the adjacent properties? To do that, it would require amending the plat or writing an individual deed for every one of those parcels. There is some cost to do that, right? We would recommend hiring a professional surveyor to do that work, to make sure the legal descriptions are right, or if we're amending the plat, that they are qualified to do that.
So in other instances, so we haven't done one like this. The other one we vacated was across private property with an easement. So the easement went away, their lots were the same.
What about the one out on, just south of 74?
6400, that's what I'm talking about. So
Okay,
that
okay.
was an easement that was put across all the lots. So when we vacated that easement, those lots just,
Reverted back to their
Yes.
property.
correct,
Okay.
it didn't change.
Yeah, you
This
just
one,
remove the easement.
somebody's gonna have to pay for that.
Yeah, because that is an actual property parcel that we own currently.
The city has done this before. They vacated the property that the Walgreens sits on. Used to be on a storm drain and a trail easement right there. The city vacated that before as well. That was a
Council, your thoughts on this then?
I'd be interested in hearing from the broader community, there might be more people besides people who backed it that use it.
Yeah, that's the one thing I put out in my staff report, is that we heard from the immediate adjacent residents, but we haven't heard from, the rest of the neighborhood. Maybe there's a benefit for someone that lives here, to be able to walk through, or someone from over here. We haven't heard from them, I guess,
So
they could be opposed, they could be for it, who knows?
How do we take that step and then understanding the costs?
So yeah, if staff's directed, part of the public hearing would have an outreach. I don't know exactly the distance, I haven't drawn, a radius over what that would entail. So if we went to public hearing, you would have a public comment period, and it would be notified to the adjacent 300 feet. So you may not get the whole subdivision. We
Which is
could,
fine.
separately make that effort before we ever got to that.
Trying to figure out how to do that without getting to that point,
Well,
without a cost,
I-
without staff time, without.
I think the first thing we should address is the safety concern of motor vehicles on that. Is there a bollard or a rock or something we can do to mitigate that? No, I'm fine with motorcycles, but.
Please slow them down so they
Well,
don't shoot.
not technically,
I'm not fine with motorcycles.
I'm not fine with motorcycles, but I wanna stop a truck,
Yeah,
a
so
larger vehicle.
our
We should mitigate.
parks, has a special gate that they like
Okay.
to put on trails where they have those
Okay, perfect.
There's
issues.
boulders off
So-
the,
They used to, before they widened it, they used to have just the sign that said trail,
And it was
center,
in the middle,
but then
But that's
you
kind
couldn't
of-
drive down to maintain it, so they moved it. But honestly,
so
the
yeah,
issue is
so
it's so
there-
narrow, but
Yeah, there are mitigations additionally for
Those are gonna
the
cost too.
safety concern, you know, of coming straight out to 134th. We could do similar idea of
Or
where
it's a-
we have a sign right on the other side of the sidewalk that, you know, says, hey,
This-
end of
yeah.
path or something,
Yeah.
you know,
Okay.
or
Do
use,
another gate on the end.
yeah,
So they have to like walk through the track skates to get through, okay.
yeah, exactly.
So, and then I'm with Lauren, I would love to I don't know if it's a poll or it's a newsletter, or I don't know what that is, to target those with minimal cost.
Is there any geofencing we can do with the survey?
With email, we can to subscribers, but
Yeah,
For
and
subscribers, which is 10%.
it's.
that's the whole Freeman subdivision there, right, on the one side?
The old Fremont, this is the kind of new section that was built a few years ago.
Localized postcards pretty cheap and easy. So
And
one
then there's
issue
also the
that's.
cost of the asphalt removal if that property owner decides to do that
That's
too,
something,
right? And
yeah.
adjusting their boundaries.
Well, and it goes to the properties on the west side?
Well, and that's
That's where
what
it's
we would have to
plotted?
discuss, do you split it down the middle and half?
Costs twice as much.
So in talking to
even,
them all, cause I did talk to them all, more people like the idea of it going to one side because you wouldn't have to put a fence in the center. It'd be cheaper for all the
Well, is
residents.
it a privacy fence or is it a 3-row fence? What's down there?
Right now, the issue is,
Yeah,
and that's what caused this, it was originally a 3-rail, and it's become, the city, the non-enforcing of trail rules, you're not supposed to put a privacy fence along this trail. So, some people have left the trail fence. Some
And
people
double
have
fence,
put
yeah.
the privacy fence, and we used to have gates to it. And by doing that, it's actually creating more of an alley, and it's creating more, like, we get shopping carts that sometimes show up there from the skate.
I get some in my HOA, it's
You get-
fine,
you
they're
get-
fine.
So, but we're pretty far we're upstream from there, quite a bit, so.
Could you post a sign with the QR code on the trail and leave it up for a couple weeks?
Or trail cam or something, I don't know.
Well, I mean, for the people who use it, who want to express an opinion, could.
Oh, yeah, you just,
Yeah, and we will sometimes do that with the A-frame signs and just set it up as a kind of temporary thing.
Not on the permanent trail set.
Yeah, I think we could probably do that.
I'm assuming your property's adjacent to it.
I'm at the very end of it on the left.
Okay.
But what's the real issue, and this is why it comes up, is the city struggles to maintain it because it's really narrow. And it does get a lot of weed and debris from all the neighbors. And so
There's weed
a
out
lot
there?
of the time youth groups have to go in
Oh.
and
I'm sorry.
between that and honestly, as you widen, this is the other thing to think about. As you widen 134th south, that road becomes more of a dead end. And that trail literally ends in the center of an intersection. There's plenty of other roads that drain traffic.
No lights or crosswalks.
And there is no,
Well, I
lights.
think
Like,
it was a
I
poor-
know because it started
It
like,
was a great decision at the beginning, but it was
was.
a poor development of all the trail system.
and it was back when Harriman, this was approved in 2002.
Yeah.
It was a good idea, but if the trail had been more centrally located, like more up on Freeman, and Freeman has sidewalks.
Yeah.
So it would make sense. The issue is, there's a lot of animals that have been killed so far. Like I had a dog that got out of that trail and it just beelines across 134th. And so the, yeah, she got out of my fence when I was mowing the lawn, but yes, good point. But I'm just saying, more concerning is when it becomes the traffic comes closer to that trail, you have less time to react.
I'm not opposed to going down.
I wanna
the road.
look at it. I'm not ready to go all the way to a public hearing yet. Let's talk about what options we have to pull a few more people and look at costs and understand.
So in our practice right now, when we took the other group, is if there was a cost, it would be on those property owners, not the taxpayer.
But I think we need to be able to absolutely, I think we need to be able to take that to the residents along there to say this is, I think they just need to have all the information, right? Even if it's not exact, to say, we're probably looking at this kind of cost. Cause that it's easy to, nothing, but it's easy to say right now, yeah, I want it, I don't want that gone, but if there's a $10,000 price tag, does that change some of those signatures,
It's
right?
$10,000, I'll do it.
So.
Well, the other option is
Question.
not only they have the land costs or the middle cost of the asphalt, they have to move their fence, they have to re-landscape, they have to do spring, like, there's.
And we're not gonna be able to do all the costs, right?
No, not for us, but I'm just saying.
No,
They don't have to, that's up to them if they want to.
But-
My question on that point is, normally if we just are gonna vacate it, right? And, yep, there's a cost, you tell them this is how much it is per person, but if you're just going to do it, for it to be equal, it's down the middle and it goes to each side. Well, if, in order to do one side, I'm thinking we'd have to get everyone to sign off saying, yep, it's okay with it being that side and not my side.
Well, so with roads, it is, when you vacate a road, it's split halfway between the road and the property goes to the adjacent property. I'm not sure if that applies to trails, but I'll double check. But I think that's probably gonna, if it does apply to trails, then yeah, we would need to
That's
get consent
complicated.
from all the properties saying that it can be on the one side. And if not, then we vacate it and it would need to go down that center line.
Do we have the subdivision plot from the other side?
Yeah,
Or is
I
it
don't
the
have it
same-
on the presentation,
Is it
but
the same subdivision
They did,
at the same time?
no, it's phase seven.
it's a different phase, same subdivision, but a later phase.
So, but the trail, that's the issue though, the trail 100% came with 7A. If you were just to do a plat amendment,
It would
it's
only
all
affect that.
tied to 7A and it would go to one side. It technically is not at all in 7B.
Well, I think we got some research.
But they'd be encumbered by the change, yeah.
I think we got some research, I'm not trying to, I
No,
am,
yeah,
okay,
I
it's
know.
10 o'clock, I am trying to.
Yeah.
It's okay to.
But I think we've got our homework to do before, I think we're all kind of interested to see what this would take, willing to look at. So let's do some homework, costs, legal stuff.
So I understand is you wanted us to also, so just to be clear, staff, it's not that, you also want to reach out to the broader neighborhood, or
Not
you
yet,
wanna
not
hold
yet.
off?
Not yet, yeah, hold off, let's see what, let's get costs first, let's try to understand that. Maybe this even comes back one more time to a quick work meeting, just to, these are the costs, these are the legal ramifications, and then we decide whether to go to the,
This is what we can do, this is
yeah,
what we
this,
can't
we
do.
may not even be able to.
Yeah.
So,
And one question I'd like to tack on is, does everyone have to sign off, or is it a
Yes.
majority, or
No.
what?
yeah, that's what, yeah, especially depending on the legal, I think that'll depend.
Well, the issue we run into is we have cookie cutter or dead end that nobody owns or nobody wants to own, and then it becomes a.
Vacate it, they own it.
Yeah.
We okay with that? Council, is that kind of a mutual head nod?
Yep.
Adam, you good with that? We'll kind of do some homework.
Yeah, I do think this is actually something bigger, and I saw it's on your next discussion. The fencing along trails like this, if you follow the rules, you can't make yourself private when they're this narrow. And so there's people that just put up fences, like the one on the left, and those are legally easier. But we don't enforce any of that, and so it does create these blight type of areas all the time, unless there's utility in there.
Okay. We got a homework for us then. Okay.
Next time, bring us an easier one.
Okay, you okay with that, Nathan? Kind of understand?
Yeah, well, I don't know how accurate, we're gonna make some guesstimates on that, I don't wanna spend a ton of time.
We'd have to look at it, really, I think it's dependent on what.
It's more like
Todd
it
asked
starts-
you,
starts
Cause
on
if you
top.
split it down the middle and have to do it that way, that's twice as many deeds, twice as many. So, twice the cost.
And if you don't, honestly, I agree with you, and the lines are pretty easy. It happened to be that most people on this side haven't done their fence, so if you did give it to one side, you wouldn't have to change a lot of fences, you're just extending their fence and taking down fence, so. And once you do the end.
Yeah.
So this is what I'm saying, once the two, me being one of them, once the two ends close it in, no one would know that, like, it wouldn't have to, however it's concerned, the people down the middle, really, they wouldn't have to, they don't have to.
So we would-
I
we would-
really
we would
don't care,
make
it's a
them
matter
have
of
to.
what we can and can't do.
Yeah.
We'll take those steps with Todd and go from there. Okay, we good? Okay, thank you, Adam. Appreciate your service on that. Adam? Okay, let's go to 2.5.
Alright,
Discussion
this,
regarding policy.
hopefully this is not about trails, it's actually about streets. So in your staff report, we actually had this issue come up because we were dealing with an encroachment. As we talked to the individual about the encroachment, they asked for permission to replace. So in your staff report, if you pull up the staff report, John, there are pictures in the staff report. But it's along Mirabilla. They asked, well, can we replace the city's 4-slat fence with a privacy fence for our backyard? And there was some question about, well, do we want it uniform and all that, but if you go out there and look, you will see that over the years, people have replaced their fences. We have privacy fences, we have our fence, sometimes we have a precast fence, so it's all over the board. The one concern I have is when those fences, for some reason, in this town, we have more people hitting trees and fences than I've ever experienced in any city. I don't know why. We fix that rail fence all the time, that one you'll see there.
They're
But
all
if-
on their phones that have connection trouble.
I don't have any bars. So when they hit that, we fix it, we have that materials. But it's much more expensive to hit the solid fences. I was looking at councils, my first thought was, I think this ship sailed a long time ago on trying to keep it uniform. You see on one side, it's all solid, we told them that. On this side, we went this way, but then you go up a few feet and people on that side have already changed it. I don't think they asked permission, they just did it. My thought is, I think it's that courthouse that wants to add it. I don't know if fighting it and saying, no, you gotta keep our fence makes sense at this point, so I'm looking for counsel. My thought I'd say, just, so you see right there, I'm standing on the corner where they wanna change the fence, and you walk up a little ways and somebody's already changed the fence up there. That happened in like 2011, and so we've lost, I just don't think there's that consistency anymore, but just want council to be okay if I tell them, I'm just not gonna fix their privacy fence if it gets hit by a car.
So you track that,
Well, if it's not that slat fence, it's not our fence.
and if you allow it here, are there other places in the city that's gonna be an issue too?
Yeah, and that's the challenge, is I think as you go on these other streets,
That's all
it's already
matters.
happening all over the place. I don't know if we lost this fight a long time ago. I do look, he's right, on the trails, you're not supposed to put a solid fence up if it's less than 50 feet across. We have it all over the city. I don't know, well, maybe the council has an appetite to go, I mean, we went after encroachments, we finally did that,
Nope.
that's been painful.
Never
We
again,
wanna deal with fences.
never again.
And maybe maybe the bigger discussion is should we talk about our fencing ordinance and how it's, all those different rules and things like that? Because it's, we only allow vinyl and wrought iron. In some instances, the what do you call it, the Great Wall of Harriman up on the hillside, that's a vinyl fence. If he was allowed to have done a chain link with the vinyl covered chain link where it was brown or black or something, it would have just blended in, we wouldn't see it from down here. Nobody would see it because nobody's up next to it. Are there some things where we should relook at stuff?
This is one of those things, Nathan, that I'm sure coming to the city, you recognize that although it is a nice effort, it's nice, but it's also an unusual burden for a city to be responsible for.
Well intentioned, but not.
Right, right.
Cities don't normally take care of a fence like that.
If we had designed that and required it, but then also required the property owner to take care of it.
O&M. Yeah.
That's one thing, but we're the ones paying for it. And that's just an
Every citizen is
unusual
paying for
burden.
that.
You would typically see some type of like improvement district or maintenance district or something like, not the general tax dollars going to maintaining that.
So my recommendation is, in this instance, we say, okay, but I think we need to relook at our fencing rules.
So moved.
So moved. That's all I got.
Yep.
That's unless everybody loves our fencing.
No, I think it's similar, alike or better.
Who knows what it is and
If they're changing it,
who's
they can't put
following
a
it
chain
anyway.
link up where they couldn't put a.
Well, right
Oh,
now,
less of
we
a
Be the
fence.
fence.
Yeah.
Why?
we have certain standards, but it's just, I look at the good intention. It was never followed through, and it is a strange burden for a city to take on that you're spreading to every taxpayer. oh, by the way, we're gonna have this fence here.
Well, so you can tie your horses to it at any point in time.
That's true, but if you tie a horse to a
Vinyl.
vinyl fence, I'm guessing the vinyl is going with the horse when it decides to leave.
Possible the city could say, you know what, certain corridors, we're gonna maintain the commitment. There are others, we're not.
I
That's
don't
why I
know
say
if we're
just-
fighting the back, I mean,
Yeah.
you go anywhere and it's all, I mean, just
Right.
even in these
Right.
primitive trails behind his house,
Right.
homeowners are taking their property, they think they own their property, second or third time homeowner,
Right.
they don't even in HOA, same
Right.
thing, so.
Yeah, I think you're right, by default, like the decision was already made.
It's just, it feels like a losing battle. So what we'll do, in the specific instance, we'll talk to them, but I think we need to come back in the discussion about what, it actually goes to our sustainability. What can the city realistically take on and do over time? And maintain
And where should our
all those
focus be,
fences?
right? Like,
Yeah.
what, is this a necessity of city operations? No.
It actually was a discussion in DRC this morning, with water tank being proposed above the cove. And the question came up before I got in there, Blake was
So
there.
it was focused around chain link fence around a water tank in the cove is what we've done. And one section of the code says chain link is prohibited, another section says it's allowed in certain instances, another section says you have to use it, so it does need, like how
And we
broad
have-
does this fence have to be?
And around our tanks, we have different fences around all of them.
Yep, we currently do this.
And so it is something that I think needs to be addressed. And I'm supportive of that part. Oh,
Okay, yep, so you have your guidance you need. Okay. 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 Thank you, everybody, let's close.
We do have it closed.
Okay.
You can vote no, Tara.
I'll make a motion to recess work meeting and go into closed meeting for the following purpose to provide Utah State Code annotated 52-4-205, strategy session to discuss pending and reasonable employment litigation.
Thanks, Adam. Motion by Teddy. Second by Kara. Teddy.
Yep.
Garrett. Kara.
Yep.
I'll vote yes, we're going to close, we need Todd, Nathan, Wendy, Blake, council,
Cody?
Which,
Cody?
I don't know which one it is.
We have a pending one.
I'll give a quick update on that, but it's only gonna be 30 seconds, so.
Okay, thank you, everybody else, Michael, thank you, Kyle, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.